Hi, my name's Alex with Email Marketing. Thanks for watching. And today I want to record video 3 of the series where I explain all the most important email KPIs, and not just what they are, because that's often pretty obvious, but what we use them for. What you can concretely do with those metrics to increase your email revenue and reduce your churn. Those are our main goals every time. So this time, we're talking about unsubscribe rate. So, like open rate and click rate, everyone knows what the unsubscribe rate means. It's people who've unsubscribed out of the total recipients. So, the unsubscribe rate is very important because it gives us a benchmark, or it gives us an idea of how interested people are in our content or how relevant our content is. Or you can say it in other words, it gives us an idea of whether people think it's worth receiving our emails, right? Where click rate is more of a positive indicator, people are positively responding to our content. Unsubscribe rate is to what degree do we annoy people so much that they unsubscribe. And so click rate and unsubscribe rate really show two aspects of the same thing. But the unsubscribe rate can be used very effectively in something that is massively underused, or underestimated, which is measuring the cost of a campaign. And not just the cost. The cost is not a monetary cost, because you're paying your monthly Klaviyo bill or your ESP bill, and then you're paying your team or your agency or whoever does your emails. So those are the costs of your emails, but there's no cost as in like in paid ads. It's not the same model. So a lot of times it can feel like it's free to send emails, right? So you want to, if you're paying a fixed cost for Klaviyo per month, or if you're paying your agency a retainer, you're going to want to send as many emails as possible so you can get a higher return on investment. But the one thing that a lot of brands, and especially bigger brands with bigger budgets, don't look at enough is the other cost, which is subscribers. Because every email you send, you will lose a couple of subscribers, and your unsubscribe rate helps you understand how many. It makes sense, right? If you send a person 3 emails instead of 1, they're more likely to unsubscribe in one of them. So then the question becomes, how can we maximize our revenue while minimizing our unsubscribe rate? So using the unsubscribe rate as a real cost of, every campaign we send costs us a certain amount of subscribers. And that those subscribers you pay for, because those subscribers come in through organic traffic that you have to pay for SEO. They come in through ads that you have to pay for a lot of money for. And those email contacts, those emails are the only way for you to stay in touch with your audience. So the unsubscribe, the cost in terms of subscribers is very important, and it's often not considered when brands build their sending calendars. And so it leads to often sending too many emails because there will be more attributed revenue, but not considering how many subscribers we're losing that could be potential repeat customers if we analyze the unsubscribe rate a little bit better. So that's the main aspect. That's the main thing with the unsubscribe rate, is it helps us measure the cost of sending a campaign. Another thing that the unsubscribe rate can help with is in the flows. Of course, we can same thing, right? We can understand if people are getting fed up with their emails. So what we can do is, if we have a 5 email sequence, we can go through the sequence and see if there are any outliers. Does email 4 suddenly have a 200% spike in unsubscribe rate? And if so, maybe we can look at the time delay and see that email 4 goes out only 3 hours after email 3. And maybe we can see that time delay should be a little bit longer so that people don't feel like they're being spammed. So again, in flows, every analysis we do is kind of based on the context of the flow. That's why I want to give that example as well. But of course, unsubscribe rate is also relevant in flows, not just in campaigns. One common thing that I've seen, and if you are not sure if you have this or not, you should probably double check your emails right now. But some flows that are very aggressive, like abandoned cart flows, we always set a time delay so that people can't get into. We have a filter so that people can't get into the flow if they've already been in the flow in the last few weeks, and we do that so it's not too repetitive. So you can imagine if you add an item to your cart and you get a flow, you get a bunch of emails. If you add another item to your cart one day later, you're not going to respond very well to getting the exact same sequence of emails. So if that happens, and that is a filter that sometimes gets forgotten about, it gets lost, if that happens, your unsubscriber is most likely going to jump up because people are going to get annoyed and they're going to unsubscribe. So regularly monitoring the unsubscribe rate for outliers and for spikes can really help you figure out if something is wrong in your flows, if you have some setup issue. And again, it can be a big help in figuring out the segmentation, the sending frequency, to minimize the cost of sending a campaign. So I hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and thanks for watching.